future. I call on the Morrison government to maintain the prosthesis list funding. I thank the House.
I call the member for Bowman.
Thanks very much, Deputy Speaker. And all of us know the importance of housing, but a lot of us take it for granted. There's one thing I've made a commitment of in my career is to make sure that housing is affordable and available as possible. Not easy when the federal government doesn't control public housing, but in 2018, thanks to a staffer by the name of Carolyn Rosario, I put together a proposal for a first home owners deposit assistance scheme and workshopped that policy in August 2018 to the Banking Association, who gave great assistance at the time, because we identified that in many ways the deposit can be an insurmountable barrier to home ownership. And I'm delighted in the 2019 campaign launch the Prime Minister announced that home guarantee scheme that's helped now 60,000 Australians into their home who otherwise would be renting. And just for a moment, I want you to picture that young children should have the ability to put a hook in the wall to frame and to display their merit certificate without having to ask a landlord. They need a place they can call home. And I'm not mentioning for a moment the challenge of not even having a roof over your head, but I've made a commitment in my electorate. We can work together to make sure that no one in my electorate is without a roof over their head at night. And the sheer horror 2 months ago to see a young mum with 4 children quivering in the full pouring Queensland rain in a park, living in 2 tents for 3 nights, while people walked past her taking photographs of her misfortune and reporting it to police. And a real estate agent sitting there where she'd just been evicted from, saying, "I'm not leaving her until we find a solution." But that's the front line. But for me, it's not just about affordability for young professionals who can't find the deposit. It's about those who need economic security and to be on what we call the escalator of the economy. And I'm really, really keen to see this government, the Morrison government, considering options for rent to buy, for longer leases, and making sure that those who are disadvantaged, be they women over 60 with no superannuation living alone, should be able to find a way to home ownership. And there's many models being considered out of my electorate. Lastly, of course, the great Minjerribah and the people of Stradbroke Island. We need a situation and an ability for a young Indigenous family to be able to borrow from major lenders for land that is community or Indigenous title. And until now, we've not found a way to do it. And I'm calling on this government to find a way to make it possible for a young home builder to put their home on Indigenous land as Indigenous Australians, through an Indigenous-led bank and through the convenership of IBA. And Sean Armistead and his team have done an incredible job in this respect. I want young Quandamooka, young Indigenous Australians on North Stradbroke Island to not only control their destiny, to be self-determining and be able to borrow from an Australian lender to build their first home without impediment.